Welcome back to our channel. In this video I'll break down 3 incredibly very simple paper transitions that you can use in your work. All of these transitions are very easy to add to your project, customize, combine with different elements and get truly different and unique results. For this tutorial I'll use our paper project, and if you're interested I'll leave a link below this video. Alright, let's get started. So I am already in Premiere Pro, and as I said before, I'll be using our paper project. You can use similar assets you already have or download the free materials I'll be using in this video. By the way, I'll leave them below this video. Let's open the transitions folder, select all 3 folders and simply import them into the project. As you can see, I already have clips on the timeline for this tutorial, so let's go to the first one and start with Rip Paper Transitions. Here you will find many different animation options. We made all of them by hand and paid attention to every frame. Let's add Ripped 4 above our clip. As you can see, all transitions are already exported with transparent backgrounds, so you don't need to worry about removing the background. Right now the paper animation works like this. The first clip fades out and the second one is revealed underneath, but you can easily revert this. Just click on the paper transition, go to speed and duration and choose reverse. Now the second clip will appear using the paper transition, so it's super easy to customize the direction. I'll be using the original version, so let's cut the first clip where the transition starts, select everything and move it up 1 track. Select the clip, right click and choose Nest. I'll call it like 3, but you can name it whatever you like. Next go to Effects and look for TrackMate key effect. Apply it to our clip. Then go to Effect Controls and under Mate choose Video 3 because our paper transition is placed on track 3. Now our transition is already working, and let's drag the second clip under the start of the transition. And here is what we got. It looks raw and unfinished, but give me a couple more minutes and this will look much better. Let's move the second clip back so we can better see the changes. Now duplicate the paper transition above, then set the blending mode of the paper to screen. And as you can see, we immediately get those textured paper edges over the transition. You can also tweak it using Lumetri color. I'll just adjust the curve slightly, add a bit of contrast here, make the bright areas brighter and so on. I'll duplicate the paper transition again and slightly change the curve. So now our first transition is almost done. For some of the paper transition I like to add a stop motion frame effect or freeze frame effect. Go to the beginning, select your clip, right click and choose Add Frame Hold. This allows you to freeze the frame at the point. Then move to the second clip, go 1 frame forward and trim it. Drag that fragment piece of the clip to the beginning of the transition, right click the second clip and select Add Frame Hold. Then extend the second clip to the end of the transition, and here is what we got. I think this already looks very good and I am happy with it, but let me quickly show you a quick way to make the transition look much better. Select the first clip and the transition above, right click and nest it. I'll call it Paper Transition 1. Now go to Effects and apply Drop Shadow effect. Set opacity to 100, distance to 0 and softness to around 90. Now I want to add a paper texture on top. Let's add a dark paper texture. I want to make it more black and white, I think, so I'll reduce saturation in Lumetri color panel. For blending mode, I'll choose Screen, and let's take a look. I really love how it looks now. Just look at those edges and little details. It looks insanely very cool. We can leave it like this or add some tapes on top. Our paper project also includes a large collection of different tapes. I'll add a tape element above the transition and animate it frame by frame. The tape will sit right on the edges of our paper transition, and here is what we get in the final version. Now let's move on to the second transition. I have also split the clip into two parts. Here I want to use fold paper transitions. We've added over 15 different fold style transitions in this category. For this tutorial, let's use fold 3. Add it to the timeline above the clip. This transition is more of a reveal, so I'll apply effects to the second clip, select the second clip and move it above the first one at the start of the transition. Trim everything to match the length of the transition, select the top clip, right click and choose Nest. I'll call it again just 3, go to effects, then find TrackMate key effect and apply it to the composition. Then in effect controls, set the mate to video 3 because our paper on the track 3. We see the transition working, but it still looks raw. Don't forget to duplicate the paper transition above, then set the blending mode to screen. Maybe duplicate it again and we can immediately see the result. Look at the texture and how cool it looks. Let's preview the entire transition. Sometimes I don't want to add more textures or tapes here. I really like it as it is. So I think we can just add one final touch. Create an adjustment layer and place it above the transition. Move the adjustment layer 2 frames to the left and go 2 frames to the right and trim it. Now go to effects and look for Lumetri color effect. Apply it to the adjustment layer. In the basic tab, set a keyframe for exposure. In the middle, I'll set it to 3. On the sides, I'll set it to 0. This gives us a quick flash effect that works great as a finishing touch for our transition. Let's take a look and see to the final result. Just look at this and I really like it. As I said, in this case I don't want to add more textures or some different animations, tapes, because it already looks great. Now let's move on to our final transition. It's called crumpled paper transition, which is also super easy to use. Let's select crumpled paper and add it above our clip. Trim the first clip to match the length of the transition. Select both the clip and transition and move them up. Below I'll place the second clip. Select the first clip, right click and then choose Nest. I'll call it 3 again, you can call it whatever you like. Go to effects, look for TrackMate and apply it to the clip. Set mate to video 3 again because our paper transition on the third line. The transition is almost ready, but it looks raw and unfinished, so let's keep going. Let's drag the second clip below the transition to see it better result, and as always, duplicate the paper transition above. But in this case our paper is light and white, so let me show you the difference. If you use screen for white paper, the texture gets too bright and hard to adjust. Multiply, I think, doesn't work either, but you can simply add the invert effect to the paper transition that turns it black. Now if you set blending mode to screen, it looks much better. You can also use curves from Lumetri color to add more contrast or adjust some different parameters. Let's add the same texture we used in the first transition, trim the excess, set blending mode to screen, also reduce saturation in Lumetri color to around 50, and let's take a look. I think it looks really cool, and it's definitely a great way to transition between your scenes. It's a dynamic, very interesting and a fun way to add a style to your edits. All 3 transitions we made today are super easy to create. You can also add some different textures, overlays and animations on top. Just remember, apply TrackMate key effect for your clip, set the mate correctly, duplicate paper transition above and set the blending mode to screen. With that, you already have a great base for these transitions. These transitions and many more textures, overlays and PNG files are all available in our paper project, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for something similar. Also, make sure to check out other projects on our website. You will find transitions, textures, sound effects and much more. Thank you for supporting us and watching our videos. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments or some recommendations if you have. See you in the next one. Peace.